Extraordinary first responders who, in many cases, in the Paramus family, were at the scene of this awful accident, knowing, in some cases, their kids. The county executive, who was an extraordinary leader, wears many other hats in his career as a former mayor of Paramus. This is not abstract in any way to him and so many up here. Also former fire chief, so he himself is a first responder. So it is with a heavy heart that we stand before you. Earlier this morning, 3 buses from the Paramus Board of Education carrying 5th graders from Eastbrook Middle School was en route to Waterloo Village in Stanhope, New Jersey on a class trip. At 10:21 hours, one of the buses was involved in a serious motor vehicle crash involving a dump truck near exit 25 on Interstate 80 westbound in Mount Olive, New Jersey. There were 38 students and 7 adults on the bus, including the driver. A total of 43 people of that 45 were injured and transported to area hospitals for treatment. We know that 21 patients are at Morristown Medical Center, 10 patients at Hackettstown Hospital, 3 patients at St. Clair's Dover, 4 patients at St. Clair's Denville, 3 patients at UMDNJ Newark, and 2 patients at St. Joseph's in Patterson. Some patients are in critical condition and currently undergoing surgery, so please keep everybody in your prayers. I'll repeat this one more time, although this is going to be released. 21 patients at Morristown Medical, 10 patients at Hackettstown Hospital, 3 patients at St. Clair's Dover, 4 patients at St. Clair's Denville, 3 patients at UMDNJ Newark, and 2 patients at St. Joseph's in Patterson. There are 2 confirmed fatalities, God rest their souls, 1 adult and 1 student. Again, 2 confirmed fatalities, 1 adult and 1 student. We are not releasing any information regarding the fatalities at this time. And at that moment, I'd like to ask County Executive Jim Tedesco to come on in and say a few more words here.
Thank you, Governor. Tough day here in Paramus. 65 years I lived in this town, and it's difficult to stand here today to talk about our education community suffering so deeply. But I have to tell you that this community is strong. This community has an outstanding leader in Mayor LaBarbiera, and we're going to continue to move forward, but also recognize and understand what happened to a teacher and a student today. They came this morning to educate, to learn, and the other students and teachers that were on that bus were here to take care of them. And as we stand here, our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to them as they recover in the hospital, as the governor said. This community has been strong. It will continue to be strong. It will come together and support the entire education community. The 2 remaining buses that were part of the convoy or the group of students have returned to the school, and the children have been reunited with their parents. Parents of the injured children are being transported to the respective hospitals by law enforcement or in their own vehicles. And to be reunited with their children. We will not be able to comment on the accident, the injuries, or the fatalities due to the fact that this is an ongoing investigation. All the questions regarding the investigation are to be directed to the New Jersey State Police and the Morris County Prosecutor's Office, as they are conducting a joint investigation of the accident. A little bit about the future. Tomorrow, schools will be open, and crisis counselors will be present to assist the children and the staff. All evening activities are canceled for today and tomorrow. Aftercare will continue so that we can take care of families in need of that service. As the governor talked about, and some of you have already seen the horrific pictures, let me just take an opportunity to thank the men and women that responded as first responders. As somebody that's been a first responder for over 40 years, these are not the type of incidents you want to have to respond to. But it was their work, their effort, that helped minimize and save some of these students. So I want to thank all of the first responders that were out there today. And I want to say that our prayers and thoughts are with them, the parents of those that were injured, and those that are no longer with us. And make sure that when you leave here today, for those of you that have the loved ones, you go home and you say how much you love them and give them a kiss, because there are people that tonight are struggling to be able to do that, and in some cases, not able to. I thank you for coming here today. There'll be more information put out at a later date, and that's all we have for today. Thank you.
And sir, your name, if you could give it to us again, please.
My name is Jim Tedesco, T-E-D-E-S-C-O. I'm the Bergen County Executive.
You said it was a teacher and a student?
Yes.
Exactly. So we want to make sure, because you said you weren't giving more information about the...
So it's a teacher and a student.
Correct.
Governor, who did you meet with at the school today? What did you tell them, and what, if anything, can the state do for them?
Well, first of all, the state police has done an extraordinary job, particularly at the scene of this awful accident. We have counselors from the Department of Human Services who have been mobilized to augment what the school district has and what the county has. This is one of the best functioning towns and best functioning counties, and you see it in moments of crisis. We spent a fair amount of time in the command center making sure that what we just said to you was accurate. And when you've got little kids involved, you got to make sure you don't have everybody having an ID, for instance. So you want to make sure you've got everything buttoned down. We don't want to tell you anything and not make sure that's accurate. And I guess in particular, we met with some of the teachers who were on that trip who were not in that bus. And you can imagine this is a shaken community. The principal's an extraordinary guy. I'm not sure where he went, Tom. This guy is an extraordinary leader. You've been there for 13 years, is that right?
12. Yep.
12 years. Today it feels like 13, I'm sure, but did an extraordinary, obviously an extraordinary leader, and everyone's trying to make sense of this, I'd say. Is that fair? Want to get the superintendent here if she wants to add anything to that.
Certainly, we are devastated by today's event. We are coming together as a community. We will ensure that students coming to school tomorrow are greeted with a crisis team so that we can lend support to our students and to our families here in Paramus.
And Governor,
Superintendent, by the way, was very compelling to us that bringing kids to school together tomorrow to be with professionals, peers, teachers, was a very smart thing to do. So thank you for your leadership.
Governor,
and I'm sorry, Governor, I don't know if you said this earlier, I may have missed it, but were you able to go to any of the hospitals or meet with any of the families who were directly impacted?
I've not done that yet, no.
Are you going to be doing that this evening?
I'll leave that private. We're still trying to figure out where we go from here.
Thank you, Governor. You had said there were critical injuries. Can you clarify how many there are roughly, or?
I think we'll leave it at what it is, because it's, in some cases the definition can move around. So I think we'll leave it with what we
And one other question, is there any preliminary from state police? I know there's an active investigation, but the basic dynamics of what happened on the roadway, is that
active investigation led by the Morris County prosecutor and the state police, and there'll be more on that as that unfolds. Anybody else with anything?
Do you have any information on the driver of the truck, the dump truck?
I do not, other than...
Was he injured?
I believe if you do the math, everybody was injured. So literally, if you add up all the math, there were 2 fatalities, and the remaining folks are injured, but I've got no detail beyond that.
The name of the superintendent?
Dr. Michelle Robinson.
Dr. Michelle Robinson.
Yes.
I'm confused about the number then, because you said here there were 43 people. They were on the bus, that's correct, right? 43 people? I mean, 45 people were on the bus, is that correct?
Correct.
45, 43 of them were taken to the hospital. So then the driver of the dump truck, what is his condition?
He's at Morristown. He's not in that
number.
the hospital.
He's not in that
He's not in that number. This was just students and teachers.
But he is alive and in the hospital.
He's alive and in a hospital, I believe, to the best of my knowledge, yes.
And what about the history with this?
Let's just see if anyone else has
company?
anybody else,
Anybody
please.
can ask.
Discover, can you give any indication of why there is a state police and prosecutor?
I'll let Major Polite address that.
Strictly, just for where the accident occurred, of course, you're going to have the state police. There's jurisdiction on Interstate 80. And while we're figuring out things, due to the severity of the accident itself, you're going to have got a death on the roadway. So in that case, you're going to have the county prosecutor come out. So we're going to work together with them to make sure we get this accident investigated as detailed as possible. You know, the more people investigating on either side, the better to come to the best conclusion we have.
Major, this dump truck.
Yes,
Major,
yes, typical. This would be typical given what's happening.
Major, if you will, this company that owns the dump truck has quite a checkered past in the past couple of years when it comes to accidents and inspections. Can you speak to that and talk about what relationship that might have with this investigation?
No, right now we want to just focus on the accident investigation and really focus on the loss that was, sustained here today. There'll be more time to dive into those issues.
Did the bus and the driver belong to the district's own fleet, or were they a third-party contract?
The bus belonged to the district.
The bus was part of the borough fleet, and the driver was part of our transportation department.
Sir.
Talk about the condition of the school bus driver. Have they been brought to the hospital? Is there any drug tests that are planned, breathalyzed or anything like that?
We'll leave that for some other moment.
Were there
Please.
seatbelts?
I'm sorry?
Were there seatbelts on the bus?
I do not know. Yes, the superintendent says yes. Anybody else, ma'am? You had said yes.
Age and gender of the student and child health, teacher and student health.
No details on that yet. Thank you. Please.
When will there be updates from the state police on the investigation itself?
I'll ask the state police.
Yeah, we'll have a detailed press release tonight, but as far as more details, as far as some identifications, we really wanted to give the families time and the injured to get together, but there'll be more details forthcoming tomorrow.
About like how the accident occurred and...
Well, we'll have more details, and whatever's sufficient and appropriate to put out as far as those details, we'll put them out. But remember, this is an ongoing investigation involving a fatality. You're not going to get to the conclusion of this investigation tomorrow. So it's going to be an ongoing situation, but we will have some follow-up information tomorrow.
Major, do you have
Hold on, sir. You had a question earlier, ma'am, or you done? You're good?
No, I'm wrapped up.
Okay,
I'm
yes.
good.
I'm wondering, Major, if you have video of the accident, do you have eyewitnesses to it? How far along are you in the process of figuring out what happened?
My guess is I can answer this for Major. We're in the middle of it. It's an ongoing investigation. We're not going to talk about any of those details. Is that fair, Major? How to do it?
That's it. Perfect, sir.
Did the school bus have cameras on it?
Like I said, this is all.
I don't know, but
Yeah. And if we have more questions about that, like I said, we can't talk much about the actual accident investigation itself. It wouldn't be prudent.
Let's do one more, ma'am.
So you said the bus driver was injured,
Yes.
and the adult that was killed, was this a teacher?
Yes.
Okay. A fifth grade teacher?
First responders, who they were, did they set up triage on the site? When did they
Any
get
of the
there?
first responders that you want to comment on, folks?
No. Look, other than saying that this is a tough situation for first responders, just like the parents, when you hear that call, for first responders, it's the same thing. When you hear that call about an accident involving children, your heart just drops into your stomach. They did an amazing job, like the governor and the county executive said. It's tough, and they're dealing with the pain also. And just like we have our thoughts and prayers going out to the people that were in the accident, please keep those first responders in your thoughts also.
I mentioned the trip was to Waterloo Village, and I do want to share that the teachers who were on the other bus commented with great passion how wonderful the folks there were once they realized what had happened, getting them rooted out and getting back to Paramus in a way that didn't backtrack the way they had come. They said they were incredibly professional. Real quick, please.
Will the NTSB be involved in any investigation?
I don't know his answer. Yeah. We'll let you know when we do. Please.
Can you give us any more information about the field trip, what they were supposed to be doing today?
Where's the principal, Tom?
It was a science trip to Waterloo Village. It's something that we started doing just last year. And, again, it was an outdoor education type trip.
Like what kind of activities would they?
I don't have all the details. I'd have to ask one of the teachers to be sure. But, again, something that they were all looking forward to very much.
Were all three buses traveling in a convoy? In other words, were the passengers on the other buses aware of what had happened before they got to their destination, or were they?
I think the answer is no, but we'll let you know when we know for sure. Please.
A number of parents expressed fears about future field trips. Has the school made a decision about whether there will be any more field trips?
We have canceled all field trips for the remaining of the school year.
Thank you.
That the buses were borough-owned or school district-owned?
They're school district buses, and the driver was part of the school district transportation department.
And there were seatbelts on them?
Were seatbelts.
Thank you all for coming out. Sorry we didn't get to you earlier. Bear with us, and as we know more, we promise we'll update you as appropriate. Thank you all.
Very sad news out of New Jersey there, everybody. Numerous people injured, 2 dead, we're being told. It is 1 student and 1 teacher in this awful New Jersey bus crash. If you have not seen the images, they're absolutely horrific, being spread on social media there, and the bus driver was among the injured. This is News Now, part of Fox10Phoenix.com. Very sad news there.